Predictions for UFC 131, Junior Dos Santos versus Shane Carwin. Let's first start off with, guys, let's start off with Donald Cerrone versus Roca. I think that's the guy named Wagner Roca. Probably mispronouncing his name, but sue me. Anyway, we have Roca. He's coming from Bellator, Strikeforce undercards against, which we all know, Donald Cowboy Cerrone, which is he's an excellent fighter, great striking ability. But I just really think that Roca jumping up from an undercard of Bellator and Strikeforce up to this high tier of fighting ability, and it's just not going to work for him. And I think he's going to lose this one based on Cerrone's caliber of fighting only. You know, not taking away anything from him fighting wise, but it's just a really big jump from undercards in another organization to the main event and the premier organization. So I have Cerrone making short work of Roca and winning by, I would say, TKO in the second round. Okay, so then we have Damian Maia versus Mark Munoz. You know, it's really I really like this fight because you have the best of best of kind of both worlds. You have the best guy in grappling in the middleweight division, and then you have possibly one of the best pure wrestlers in Mark Munoz. Damian Maia won the ADCC grappling competition. He's a champion, former champion, I should say. And then you have Mark Munoz, who's a NCAA wrestling guy. So you just have both of these guys, and Mark Munoz, he has heavy hands, and Damian Maia has been really working on his striking. But the way I see this going is I see Damian Maia backing away from trying to show his boxing skills against a guy like Mark Munoz, who's pretty heavy-handed, and going back straight to his roots of his grappling days, and really getting Mark Munoz on the ground and seeing how tough his wrestling really is. And I think Damian Maia is going to really take advantage of the opportunity to go against the wrestler and show him that his jiu-jitsu is superior. So I see Damian Maia winning this by submission, second round also. So let's move on to the next one. We have John Olav Emino Mo versus Dave Herman. I know I chopped up that guy's name, but let's just call him Olav for right now. That's what we're going to call Olav. The problem that I have with Olav is that the guy hasn't fought for 5 years. Almost 5 years. It's crazy, the ring rust that is going to be with this guy. I mean, his ground game is pretty good for being a heavyweight. And then you have Herman, who's about 26 years old, and he's been pretty successful fighting in Japan and in a couple other places. I think he fought in Bellator, I'm not sure, and some other promotions. But I just really think that the ring rust is really going to get to Olav. He has 5 years without fighting is really deteriorating to a fighter. I had a hard time just coming off from a three month injury and jumping back into training and really picking things back up from not doing anything. So I can imagine 5 years of not really being in competition and jumping into a main event of the UFC, against a guy who's pretty decent, especially within the UFC. So I have Dave Herman winning this one. I say by decision, and by decision. He's going to win by unanimous decision. So then we'll move on to Kenny Florian versus Diego Nunes. This is Florian's. I think this is his third or fourth weight class. In 6 years. So I'm just curious to know if this is really the weight class for Florian. Is he really going to prosper in this weight class? Because he was having a hard time in the lightweight division. As you know, he fought against a couple of other. I mean, he had success against Gomi, but that was to be expected. But he lost his biggest matches against BJ and a couple of other guys. But will the weight cut? If the weight cut doesn't kill Florian, and his cardio doesn't he doesn't just implode from being so tired because of the cut, I really think Florian will be a real challenge in this weight division, especially with his length, how tall he is, his reach, and everything. I really would love to see that. I really would love to see a fight between Florian and Aldo. That would be great. But Florian really has to show that he's welcomed in this division, that he can really hold his, quote unquote weight in this division. But I would really love to see it. But then we have Diego Nunes, who is a decent guy. To me, he's kind of like an average fighter. I think he's 16-1, I believe. He's beating. I think he's coming off of his biggest win, which was against Mike Brown in WEC. He's well rounded, and he's definitely improving. I just really think that it's just going to be really too much for him, especially, like I said, if Florian can make weight, which he did. If he can make weight and he can, not gas out because of the cut, he will win this one by wearing down Nunes and basically taking him to the ground and submitting him. And I say that's going to happen by the third round. I'll give Kenny some time to really, to really adjust to the speed of it being a lighter weight class and the cut also too, because it regardless of the fact, guys, cuts do affect you, no matter if the fighter tells you it does or not, or if you can see it or not. In some way, it affects you. So, but Florian, third round by submission. So then we have the biggest, the main event of this card, and that is Junior Dos Santos versus Shane Carwin. We both know what these guys can do. It's really kind of unpredictable who can, land the hardest blow first and the fastest. It's fairly predictable. I mean, unpredictable, especially in that first round, that first couple of minutes where both guys are fresh. And, we all know Shane Carwin can throw bombs, and we both know Junior Dos Santos, excellent striking, can throw bombs also. The biggest question for me would be Shane Carwin's cardio. His previous loss against Lesnar, his cardio was horrible, with all the muscle, muscle just sucking up all of that oxygen and not allowing the blood to flow right. And he didn't turn purple, but he said he couldn't really move. He was just really just there for the taking for Lesnar. So his cardio, like I said, has been very suspect. And with his cardio being so suspect, it allows guys like Junior Dos Santos, whose cardio is pretty good in the heavyweight division, to go in there and pick apart guys like that once it gets past the first round or the first couple of minutes within the first round, and just picking guys apart and just doing body shots and straight jabs and hooks and everything else, and just using your boxing to pick the person apart. And that's what I believe is going to happen. I couldn't go with Shane Carwin for the unpredictable, haymaker or right hook or whatever, because both of the guys have excellent striking ability. And out of both of these guys, the one that that stands out to me the most is Shane Carwin and his cardio not even being there. I know he's on a new diet and all this nutrition and everything else, and new workout and no protein and all this other stuff, but that's really untested. We really don't know with him losing. If you've seen some pictures of him, he kind of looks he's deflated a little bit because he's lost a little of the muscle mass that he normally had because he stopped taking the supplements and everything else. But will that really affect him? Will it gas him out even quicker? Does he have to, get combat worn? That's basically what I'm trying to say here. It's very unpredictable what's going to happen because it's not the same Shane Carwin, But based on, history with Shane Carwin, I'm going to guess he's going to tire out. And I'm going to go with Dos Santos on this one for the TKO in the second round. So, guys, and not to go back on that, Shane Carwin and Dos Santos fight, I would have loved to see the Lesnar fight, but as we both know, they both got injured. It would have been a bigger fight, but this fight is a better fight, skill-wise. I really think it's a better fight for people who love technical fights. Now, if you're just looking for a big, massive, the bigger fight, how many people are gonna watch it? Lesnar and Dos Santos would have been the bigger fight. But this is the better fight. So anyway, guys, if you like my video, please rate, subscribe, and comment on it. And I'll see you guys in my next video, which is the review of UFC 131. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace.